For the past few years, general consensus has suggested that Gen Z hates sex. But now, new research suggests that the sex recession is over. A recent survey found that both Gen Z and millennials in relationships are having more sex. Lucky for you, you've got a woman on your team, and she's batting cleanup. Not reading the signs a woman wants to sleep with you in a punctual manner could result in being relegated to the dreaded friend zone. Avoid this by learning the signs she offers both before and while on the date. 1. She texts you a few of her outfit choices. If she snaps you a few pics of her outfits prior to a date, she's trying to do one of two things. Either she's riling you up or trying to please you. Soliciting your opinion on her looks means she wants to do everything within her ability to appear more attractive. Both reasons come from a position to appear more attractive. The difference is that if she riles you up, purposing to get the juice flowing to your nether regions, it means she's a hunter. She could also send you photos of her outfits because she's unsure of her looks and is being influenced by both her insecurity and desire to woo you. You should be able to understand which motive triggered the response within minutes of meeting up. If she appears vivacious and flirty, it means she might be the aggressor. If she's a bit laid back and nervous, you may need to pursue her a bit more if you want sex to be in the cards. 2. The roommate situation. You may find it odd that she randomly brought up that her roommate won't be home. It's not odd, it just means she wants you sexually. Perhaps she'll say, "Oh, it's so nice finally having the place to myself. My roommate has been driving me crazy." It's easy to miss or misread the intent behind this information. But be aware that this is something she'd say before a date. If sent over the phone, this message isn't an unconscious stream of thought outburst, but rather a calculated message with hidden intentions. She may also politely inquire as to your roommate's situation. If you can't discern whether this is a signal to have sex, jokingly reply that the house is all yours so that you two can play as much Scrabble, complete as many jigsaw puzzles, or engage in whatever other dorky and non-sex-related activity. This response should heat up the tension and might even elicit a more forward response from her. If the date is going well, consider turning your shared desire to play Jenga at your house into a running joke. Continuing to joke about it will make it easier to ask her to come over at the close of the date. 3. She asks you how far away the location is from her or your place. It's possible she honestly might want to know how long it'll take her to get from her home to the date location. However, we can glean her intent by thinking back to prior dates. Has she ever asked how far away the date spot is from her place before? Is she asking now because she's never heard of the place or has a hunch that it's quite far from her home? If the answers to the prior questions are both no, then she might want to bring you to her pad. It's far easier to understand her intent if she's asking how far away your home is from the date spot. Should she ask this, give pause. Why in the world would she care? If you want to pry just a bit more info out of her and are feeling ballsy, text her, "No worries, I can practically carry you to my place from the restaurant." Her response will reveal a bit more of her intent. 4. She asks you suggestive questions. How many people have you slept with? What's the craziest place you've ever had sex? Which position is your favorite? If she's willing to brazenly ask you sexually charged questions such as these, it can one of two things. The more unfortunate of the two is that she doesn't find you sexually attractive and is toying with you. She's had a bit to drink, knows there's no future with you, and feels like dangling the fantasy of having sex with her in front of your face. This isn't common unless she's a terrible human. The less unfortunate scenario is that she's had a bit to drink and wants you to fantasize about having sex with her as much as she's fantasizing about it with you. To heat things up a bit more, when pertinent, tell her that you can show her your favorite position if she'd like to. Say so in a casual, respectful, and playful way. Remember that you two are adults. You've been on at least a few dates, and sex has crossed both of your minds. We're in a day and age when talking about sex before having it isn't that odd of a dinner subject. 5. She wants to finally meet your dog. Broaching the desire to meet your dog is the perfect segue to inviting her over. The only issue with this is that unless her coming over is preceded by some steamy kisses, you can't be 100% certain she came over to have sex. Maybe, just maybe, she just really wants to pet your dog. Ascertain what her intentions are by trying to heat things up prior to her coming over. If a kiss hasn't taken place before she stepped foot into your house, it's unlikely that she wants to have sex. 6. She asks if you live alone. As we've discussed, not everyone feels comfortable having sex with the knowledge that a roommate might be listening. She doesn't want any surprises if she comes over. Being ambushed by a roommate could completely throw off her mentality. Asking if you live alone is her way to prepare for what's to come. 7. She asks you to help her with something back at her place. There are 2 ways she could request this. She could ask you in a shy and diffident manner. If she does so, she isn't sure if you're really into her or not. She's resorted to asking you over because the signs you've been sending her aren't explicit enough. Or she could inject a bit of playfulness into her request. Her playful intonation when asking should be equivalent to a wink. Of course, she wants to have sex, but her flirting style doesn't allow her to explicitly ask for it. 8. She touches your thigh. The location of a touch carries with it a unique signal. A touch to the upper shoulder, for example, might be a friendly one or used to point you in one direction or the other. A touch down south, however, signals that she wants to explore as much as you're willing to let her. The further south, the longer the duration, and the higher frequency of touch are all signals of intense attraction. While a touch to the thigh is a pretty unequivocal signal she wants you, if you miss the signal or refuse to reciprocate within a timely manner, she may stop putting herself out there and assume you're not into her. Generally speaking, this signal is pretty easy to perceive. However, alcohol may blur your discerning abilities. 9. She maintains physical contact while talking. Touching you has become so natural that she doesn't feel the need to even let you go while talking. Rather than pull away, she opts to not break the physical connection by maintaining a physical touch. A smile accompanied by sustained touching is also a telltale sign a woman wants to sleep with you. Now all you've got to decide is whether or not to do it. Sex on a first or second date signals that you two just want to shag. Sex on a third date shows that you're willing to hang out with this person for reasons that aren't wholly sexually motivated. If you two are into each other, the sexual tension should come to a boil by the third date. Take her somewhere nice, close to your apartment, and make all the preparations necessary to be ready to bring her back to your place. While sex isn't a